Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today for our look at how manufacturing companies are capitalizing on the power of the Acumatica cloud solution to address their challenges and to gain an advantage over their competitors. My name is Darren Reddies. I'm the Director of Pre-Sales and Solution Design at the Answer Company. With me today is Danny Jang, who specializes in the Acumatica solution and who will be showing you the product. We'll start out by talking about some of the challenges we see manufacturing companies facing, and then we'll give you a brief look at the product so that you can get a feel for why more and more companies are choosing Acumatica. The agenda for today's webinar is as follows. As I said, we'll start with a quick discussion on some of the key industry challenges manufacturers face, and we'll share a few statistics that have been gathered on the industry. From there, we'll take a look at how Acumatica is helping companies with their unique approach. I'll share with you some of the types of manufacturing that Acumatica supports and give you some quick highlights of the solution offering before handing it over to Danny, who will guide you through the product itself. We'll also share with you a bit about our company and what a typical implementation looks like. And then, time permitting, we'll answer any questions you might have. So let's take a look at some of the key concerns that manufacturers have shared. In a recent survey conducted by Korber, 91% of respondents indicated that they are struggling to stay ahead of the curve. 48% said they experienced growth in their manufacturing, which is great, but along with that, they're seeing increasing complexity in their operations. 25% of companies continue to use manual processes for those core operations. There's nothing wrong with manual processes, but what they lack is scalability. So as companies grow, these reach a point where they become unmanageable. 48% of respondents indicated that they're integrating technology throughout their operations. This fits with the trend to digital transformation that we see across industries. It's separating leaders from followers. And then 46% of companies are struggling to meet expectations for speed, cost, and adaptability. Notice that the percentage is almost identical to the number that are facing increased complexity, not a coincidence. It's easy to see how digital transformation is propelling companies beyond their peers. The best performing companies, armed with digital tools and processes, are racing away from the rest with dramatically higher productivity and profits. And this is creating a digital divide where laggards struggle to sustain their business and remain relevant in today's digital economy. Simply put, digitally mature manufacturers outperform their non-digital peers. They generate more profit, more revenue, and will outcompete non-digital companies. It's a bold statement, but it was a clear outcome of recent IDC Worldwide Manufacturing Insights research, which compared the profitability and revenue of digitally mature manufacturers to their non-digital counterparts over the last 6 years. Disruptions caused by trade tensions and the global pandemic had a smaller impact on manufacturers that had just started or were well on their way to digital transformation compared to non-digital manufacturers. To provide this kind of value, the technologies implemented need to create a foundation for future capabilities, allowing the organization to innovate products and processes and to create opportunities in the markets and ecosystems in which they operate. To do this, systems need to be cross-functional and capable of transforming the entire organization. For example, while an order processing system automates and optimizes business processes related to resources required to meet organizational objectives, it can also be a foundation for extending capabilities to an intelligent supply chain. ERP becomes one essential part of a system that connects the entire supply chain and end-to-end innovation from the consumer to raw material supplier to drive overall performance. For this reason, performance optimization does not happen in a single project, rather as part of a series of deployments that layer technological capabilities over time. Many problem statements faced by manufacturers are inherently complex and nonlinear. They defy traditional statistical methods. So as additional capabilities are added, AI becomes crucial to process the volume of data. This means starting with use cases that facilitate end-to-end data integration and dashboarding, and then building up additional forecasting, scenario analysis, predictive and optimization capabilities from the organizational level across the supply chain. It's with these challenges in mind that the Acumatica solution continues to evolve. For over a decade, Acumatica has been working to bring enterprise-grade tools to the mid-market at an affordable price point. They've done this based on a platform that continues to lead in its ability to scale and adapt, allowing them to continue to build best-in-class functionality. Acumatica's adaptable cloud XRP platform is the base that this solution is built upon. We're focused today on the manufacturing edition, but it's important to note that this solution goes far beyond manufacturing operations. Companies that have operations across multiple areas can integrate their entire operation in a single solution, drawing upon the features that have been built for the multiple editions available. It's important to look at how Acumatica stacks up against the competition. What you can see here is that its modern UI and flexible workflows have resulted in it being consistently ranked highest in usability by Nucleus Research and G2. It's a market leader, and this is why we at the Answer Company are such a big fan of this product. If you're not familiar with G2, it's a great place to look for what actual users have to say about a product. What you'll find is that consistently, Acumatica is held up as a leader in the industry. One of the things that sets Acumatica apart from its competitors is that licensing is not user-based. As a result, you're no longer faced with deciding who can use the system based on the cost of licenses. It gives you a tremendous opportunity to scale and extend the system throughout your organization based on where you see opportunities for improvement. You pay for the computing power you use rather than based on the number of users. We're also a very big fan of the ethical standards set out by Acumatica. They've developed a customer bill of rights designed to protect customers against some of the practices we've seen in the industry. Things like a cap on price increases, transparency on all fees, and a guaranteed access to your data are things that give us the confidence to bring this to our customers, knowing that they're going to be treated in a way that's in alignment with our culture at the Answer Company. So let's talk about some of the various types of manufacturing companies that are supported by Acumatica. Clearly, there are very different needs based on the type of goods that you're manufacturing. But Acumatica's detailed and flexible solution allows it to support companies across a very wide range of products. And of course, beyond the type of products you make, there's also the approach to manufacturing that you take. Again, we see an amazingly adaptable solution that works well, whether you're making to stock or to order, whether you're making standard products or whether you're building custom products for your customers. To meet the needs of these various industries and approaches, there are a number of optional components available, but the backbone of the manufacturing edition is based on some key functions that you'll see here. And as you'll see in Danny's demonstration, these functions work seamlessly together within the Acumatica solution. Again, we want to emphasize that not only does Acumatica provide an excellent set of tools to manage your manufacturing operations, it also provides a full suite of tools with things like native document management, CRM, project accounting, field service, and e-commerce, to mention a few. This combined with the configurable inquiries and personalized reports and dashboards provide real-time business analytics across your entire business. So at this time, I'd like to hand things over to Danny Jang. He's going to give you a quick look at Acumatica, focusing on the manufacturing edition.
Thank you, Darren. And hello, everybody. I'm Danny, and today we're going to be taking a look at the manufacturing edition offered from Acumatica. With core modules such as bill of materials and production orders, we also have other available modules to handle things like materials requirement planning, estimating, product configuration, advanced finite capacity planning and scheduling, as well as data collection for our shop floors, and the ability to manufacture to specific projects. Now, we can manufacture different scenarios, such as make to order, which we can then, from a sales order, create production orders. We can make to stock using our planning processes and generating production orders. We can also do things like engineer to order, configure to order, as well as then batch manufacture and process manufacturing. So let's just jump right into the Acumatica now. You should be able to see my screen. And on my screen, I have the Acumatica dashboard showing, which is my manufacturing overview. All right. So today, I'm logged on as the administrator. So Acumatica is completely role-based so that you can gear your permission and rights to people's specific roles so that they have access to certain specific areas, and they may be restricted from other areas. So depending what their roles are, Acumatica then will be able to gear the experience specifically for each individual user or each different group as roles. So on my manufacturing dashboard, we can see widgets that are set up, such as the late production orders. I have things like production orders by status, and I can do things like specifically filter out, say, work orders that I don't want to see. So there, I've unselected closed, I've unselected complete, and here now I just want to see what's planned, what's been released, what's in process. And by clicking down on these specific charts or widgets, I can drill down into these widgets and see listed here all my production orders, as well as the different ones by status, such as planned, released, so on and so forth. Clicking my home button gets me back into my default dashboard. And we're here now, again, is where I started. And this is my preferred dashboard when I log on to Acumatica. So now let's go take a look at how we set up a bill of materials. Okay, so in my workspaces here, I have bill of materials, and there I'm going to go down into my bill of materials. I've selected my first bill of materials here, in which this is going to be a bill of materials to produce some printed circuit boards. I have a default BOM for my inventory ID, as well as the ability here to be able to keep revisions and make changes to my bill of materials and keep a history of all my changes. And then I can always refer back to whether this is revision A, B, C, or however I want to number my revisions. Now, down in the middle of the bill of materials is the work centers or the cost centers, the routing that it's going to be required to be able to build my specific printed circuit board. Okay. Within these work centers, I can set up things like standard labor costs, right? There, up here is my standard cost. I can create calendars. I can also add overhead to this specific work center. Any machines that need to be used here can be set up. So there is how my work center will be created. Okay. There you'll also be able to see that I have selections to backflush my materials, backflush my labor, so that I don't want to issue materials or track, say, labor specifically. I can backflush the specific materials and or labor as required for that work center. Now, as I look at the different workstations, the bottom part of my BOM screen here shows me things like the material that's required. In my materials tab, I can see how many is required, and I can see things like the unit costs, plan costs associated. as I select the different work centers, you'll notice that the materials will change. And then on the different tabs here for each different work center, I can see steps. So I can give special instructions to all the different work centers for this operation. Here in the toolings, I can add or assign special tools for this job, as well as specific overhead for this specific operation. Now that we have our bill of materials set up, we can now go over to production orders. And here within the production orders, we can create a production order for my printed circuit boards. Here in the inventory ID, I can start typing in what I want. The system will then look for what I've started to key in. It sees that I'm started to type print. There's my printed circuit boards. I'll select that, and things like warehouses will default in for me, and I can change these defaults if I want to on this screen. Here, we're going to be making printed circuit boards. All right, so to keep things simple, here's my order date, and here's how many I want to make. I just want to make one of them today, and there on this production order, I can always see what the quantity is completed, if I scrap any items as I'm making, and here is what my quantity remaining to finish up this production order is. Now, for my scheduling methods here, I could either start on a date or I can finish on a date. And as I make my changes based on my constraint date, my start and end dates will change and update for me. Here is a dispatch priority. So I can assign priorities to my production orders. And then once this is done, the next tab here shows me things like sales order references, so that if this is being a make to order type production order, I can link the sales order back to this production order, and on the sales order, I'll be able to see the production order that was created for that sales order. On my events tab, this is where I can see all the different audit logging for this production order. So as an example here, if I take this production order and now I want to release it into production, let me save this first. And then I go back into my menu here, and I want to release this order into production. Here now you'll see that on the events screen here, it shows me when my production order was created, when it was released into production. And as I release things like materials, labor, so on and so forth, this will all be logged for me so that I can get an audit history of my specific production order. Now here on the totals tab, I can now see things like the planned or budgeted labor time, planned materials, and things like overhead that I've created in my bill of materials. My actuals will show me what was actually issued to the job, and with things like time tickets or scanners, I can put materials to this specific production order, and on my variances tab here, this will then calculate for me the variance between what was planned and what's actual. Now, I want to see what materials this production order requires, and if all the different material is available. So back on my menu here, I can look at the critical material right down here. And when this screen pops up, it's going to list for me anything that I don't have to be able to put this into production. So I'm going to click on the show all items, and this shows me all the different materials required to be able to make this specific circuit board. And here I can see that I need a board, I need resistors. This is what I need for my bill of materials, my production order, and this is what I have on hand. So on this column here, I can see that I'm not short any, so I can go ahead and start manufacturing. Now, if it were the case that I didn't have any specific items and I needed to get these ordered, I can do the ordering directly from this page here by selecting what I want, clicking on the purchase, or alternatively, I could use our MRP in a model such as just-in-time ordering, be able to bring that material in for my specific jobs. Now, I'm going to go ahead and click on the purchase, and then what this will do then is through the system, it'll see that vendors for these products is going to be this vendor here. And when I click on create, this will then create my purchase order. There, the process will now start. Okay. So within my purchase order here, these are the items I want. Here's the quantities. And when I remove the hold on this purchase order, now my purchase order will go into an approval process, and you see the status of my purchase order now moves into a pending approval. So me being the administrator today, I can click on the approve, or if I don't want to order these because I already have them in stock, I can click on the reject. For today, I'm going to click on the approve here, and then there is going to be now my purchase order in open status. I can check on the approvals to see who this was assigned to for approval. I can see who actually did the approval, and then there's my approval there, and the status of my purchase order now is approved. If I wanted to send this out to my vendors, I can go and print the purchase order, and through the system here, electronically send this purchase order to my vendor. Okay. Now back onto my production order. There is the one that we were working on. And in the events here, again, we can see when it's created, when it's released. And then here, now that I know I have all the materials needed, I can use my release materials here to put everything into production that's required. And then there you'll see that as that screen updates, I will then be able to see issued materials. And there I can select all, and this will then now issue the materials to my job. And now this will be able to go through and release. I'll take the hold off of that because I want to release this into production. And then there I get the operation is completed. I go back into my production order here. And then there we'll see that in the events, there is my material transactions. Now, if I wanted to now say move these transactions through in terms of labor, I can back flush it. I can also use the other screens to be able to set up all the different transactions or use scanners in the warehouses to do that. Now, for the last little bit here, I wanted us to take a quick look at the MRP, materials requirement. And what I can do is I'm going to generate my MRP to be able to calculate all the different min maxes, all the different requirements for all my different production orders and whatnot. And then there, the process will finish up in just a second there. And when I go into my MRP display, here we are. And now I get a list of everything that is my base quantities here, what my inventory ID is, the source of what I've set up for these different items to either be purchased or manufactured. And then here I'll be able to see things like linked sales orders and linked production orders. So I can see that this needs to be created. And if I wanted to, then I could select it. I could click on manufacturing to create production orders, or I can click on the purchase to create the purchase orders as we did just a few minutes ago. So there you have it, a manufacturing overview. And we're gonna go back to Darren now, and then we'll take some questions on what you've seen. Hope you enjoyed this.
Thanks so much, Danny. That was great. As you saw, the Acumatica Manufacturing Edition is powerful and flexible, yet easy to use. This allows you to manage and capture details about your manufacturing operations in real time. So instead of guessing where variances are coming from and trying to manage your operations based on gut instinct, you can rely on data easily accessible for decision makers. We'd like to take a quick moment to talk about one of our manufacturing customers using Acumatica. Herd Manufacturing makes custom bumpers and grill guards for trucks, and they've successfully implemented Acumatica to make some pretty dramatic improvements in their business. They love the adaptable nature of Acumatica and continue to grow their use of it. They now process orders 12 times faster than they could previously, and based on that efficiency gain, they're improving their customer service as well as increasing their capacity. At this point, their operations are 95% paperless, so data is easily available and is accurate. I hope you've gained a bit of insight into the Acumatica solution for manufacturers. At this time, we'd also like to share a bit about ourselves. At the Answer Company, we've been implementing solutions since 1994, and we are now the #1 Acumatica partner in Canada. We have 6 offices in North America with a team of 120 and growing. It's something where it's continuing to change on a daily basis, but I believe at latest count, we were just over 120. We're very proud of some of the recent awards and recognitions we've received. We're committed to developing a high trust and positive workplace culture. This is great in our view, not only for our employees, but also for our customers. As a result of the organization we've built, we have a very high retention rate. So what that means to you is you can be confident that the team that leads your implementation is going to be there for many years to come to support you as well. A big part of that is our vision of people first. So we're a company that delivers technology services, but we see this as a business of collaboration. It's about us working with you to achieve your business and personal goals. Corporate social responsibility is something that we take seriously at the Answer Company. Once a quarter, we go out into the community as a team to donate our time to various charities. And in addition to going out as a team, every one of our employees is given another 4 days per year to personally volunteer time at the charity of their choice. So I mentioned a couple of slides back that our vision is people first, but equally important is our purpose, which is propelling companies forward. And this is really what we're all about. We're here to work with you to determine what forward means for your company, and how you can best achieve it. Important to note, we are a full service provider. While we're talking about ERP implementation for manufacturers today, we do offer a full breadth of solutions and services to support your company's technology needs. So we'd like to give you a bit of an idea of what a typical implementation project looks like. Our process is something that's evolved over the years, and it's designed to get a solution in place as quickly as possible while minimizing the risks associated. So we use an agile approach that focuses on ensuring the system delivered provides the gains that were promised at the lowest possible cost. This is a highly collaborative process. We always like to make sure that companies understand the typical time commitments required by their employees in a project. As you can see, the time commitments grow as the project progresses. So your team works closely with our experts during the analysis and configuration phases, and then really gets into the heavy lifting during the validation phase. This ensures that your team is completely comfortable with the solution at go live and there are no surprises.